G'day YouTube, it's Turbo Tristan here. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a week since we've last seen the D16 Turbo build, and this time it's back for a little bit more boost. So since we last saw the car, the owners had the car for a whole week. We've had to have the car back once already to do some mods. These ones weren't good mods. We had to replace all of the fittings from the oil filter and also to the turbo because all of those cheap fittings were leaking. So I'm going to show you what we did with that in just a second. The reason why we are back is because we're going to set up a missing link or a daisy chain of fish tank filters to cheat the map sensor. Now I've heard about this several times, and heaps of people have told me just chuck a few fish tank filters in there, everything will be sweet, off you go. I actually tried that, just shoved one in the line and made a little bit of a link, and it didn't work. But now, after a bit more research, I know what I need to do. I looked all over YouTube, I couldn't find any decent videos, so I decided that I wanted to make one. So I've got the owner back. We've already adjusted the wastegate. We've got it up another full turn, so that should give us another 2, maybe 3 PSI. So hopefully our target is around about 8, maybe 9. So that's what we're aiming for. Still no tune, stock injectors, stock fuel pump. So we're hoping that this missing link system or daisy chain of fish tank filters is going to do the job. The owner has also jimmy rigged up this really cool air intake. As we discussed, I had to trim here and make things fit around the fan shroud, and it wasn't ideal sucking hot air straight off the radiator. The owner has put in some elbows. This is just temporary. We're going to trim this down and put a filter on there and get another silicon elbow there soon. But just for now, we're getting some cool air from behind the headlight, which is great. Everything else is going like a dream. So let me show you what we've got over here. Hopefully we miss all the glare and sunlight, but I've set up a little drawing here on my whiteboard. But before we do that, so I replaced all of the fittings. All of these China fittings were leaking. The red and black ones are the ones that came with the oil cooler setup, that we didn't end up running the oil cooler, but just because there was no space. But we did end up using a lot of the oil lines, and every single one of those leaked. The max speeding rod fittings didn't leak, but we decided to change them all out for some Raceworks ones. So they're local down here in Melbourne, so I just went and hit those up. I went with some push lock fittings, all black, nice and stealth, so I think that was the go. Don't cheap out on fittings because you just have to change them all anyway. So turbos is cool, intercoolers is cool. Go cheap on those, but probably not on your fittings. Hopefully you guys can understand my drawing here. This is your intake manifold. You have tons and tons of vacuum lines coming off there. I've just drawn a couple on here. This is your brake booster line, throttle body, and your factory map sensor. What I'm told is you grab any of the extra vacuum lines and you run a link off there with around about 4 of these fish tank filters. They're a one-way valve. So when the car's on vacuum, they're all sucked shut, so there's no leakage. The car won't stall, in theory, which we're going to test. And then under boost, the boosted air comes in here, fills up the plenum, and then any excess is going to push out through here to go to talk to the map sensor. Now on the way past, it's going to bleed out some of this extra boosted air. So hopefully by the time it gets to the map sensor, we're reading very little to no boost and everything stays fine, that no engine lights, the car doesn't break up, and we keep running smooth and sweetly. Now there is a device you can buy called a missing link. And basically it's a spacer that goes between your factory map sensor here. It's really nice and neat. Those cost around $100, whereas these cost around $5. So that's a no-brainer, at least to give it a try. This is what it looks like once you're done. So a vacuum line off the plenum, you've got your one-way valves and then your map sensor. So we're going to go and install that on the car. Should be really simple. Just a matter of unplugging the map sensor that's there, plugging into this spare one that I have, or you could make a blanking plate and just blank that off, and then simply plug that in, and off you go. I just wanted to thank Van T, Voda T, and Joey H These three guys reached out to me through Facebook. I'm not going to reveal their last names just for privacy, but three good blokes messaged me on Facebook, showed me their setups, talked me through what they've done. Now, between the three guys, we got some great tips. I actually learnt that Evo 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 injectors actually, according to these guys, clip in and run fine on the factory ECU and all the factory plugs. So that's something I need to investigate myself, but I'll take their word for it because they've been good with all the other info in the past. So that'll help you go from a 190cc injector to a 410, I think they said they were. So that's perfect for what we're doing. All three of these guys said that they are running the missing link setup just like this, and around about 9 or 10 PSI on their cars with no tune. Everything's all factory. One of the guys upgraded to Evo injectors, so 410cc injectors. I believe one of the guys as well also put in an Apexy SAFC, and that is Super Air Fuel Controller. So that can just tell the injectors to put more fuel in versus the air fuel ratio and the RPM. So pretty good little cheat. They're still, you know, they're not cheap. Last time I bought one of those was about $600 a couple of years ago, and then you've got to get it installed and tuned. Yeah, maybe if you can pick one up secondhand cheap, might be a good budget option. However, if you're going to go $600, you may as well go $1,000, and you may as well do an ECU upgrade and totally program everything. I don't know, that's just my 2 cents, but let's go over to the car and we're going to set this up now. Really simple. So it's just going to be a matter of reaching back down here, plugging that into a vacuum line. So pressing that down, and we'll cable tie this all up soon, but we'll just leave this here for now. And then unplug the factory map sensor, plug it into the other one. Sorry about the camera angles, doing that with one hand. We're going to go take it for a drive now and check out what sort of boost it makes and how the car drives. Hopefully that's problem solved. All right, so first test, we've given it a little tiny squirt so far and hit 5 PSI and held, so that was good. No breakup. Now we're going onto the freeway again, second gear. It's pulling very strong, but we're not really getting more than 5 PSI yet. I don't know why that is. It could be because maybe it's bleeding air out. I don't know, but yeah, very strange. It's definitely going harder. And it runs smoother, so that's a good thing. So we're in 4th gear, it's running about 3 PSI now. Obviously the turbo is not spinning as fast, but yeah, goes strong, goes good, pulls well. Oh, how lucky is that? Straight back on. A little bit of hesitation there, and again. Drives nice, can't really complain with that. Alright, so we've just pulled over and switched where the vacuum source for the boost gauge picks up and reads from, to see if that gives us any different reading on how much boost we're running, because I had it set up in front of the valves, so now I've got it set up behind all of the valves, so right at the end just before the map sensor. See if that makes a difference. Not sure what I'm expecting. I think it would maybe read less if it's bled off all of the boost by the time it gets there, so you know, how are we going to know until we test it? Science things. Less boost now, so I think I had it set up correctly. Now it's going much harder. nothing now, but we're definitely making boost. So I think I'll switch it back, or maybe take out one of the filters, I don't know. So this time round we've put everything back how it was with the daisy links. We've picked up the boost reference from a different point. There we go, we're at 7 pound. We'll see if we can get into third gear and see what it makes in third gear, see if it goes past that, but ran great, didn't break up. So it's probably pretty dumb to set the boost gauge in line with all of those filters. I didn't even think about that at the time. I just shoved it back in and off I went. But yeah, picking the boost source up from another place, that's the car owner's suggestion, and yeah, smart thinking. Let's see what we can get now. Limiter at about 8 psi, and it didn't break up. There's no need to break any more laws. We've hit rev limiter, we've hit boosts, we've hit 8 psi, and it didn't break up. So I think that's it. The daisy chain links of fish tank filters for $5, and referencing the boost source from a different location, and everything's sweet. So it's the point in the video where I'm going to read a few YouTube comments and respond. So the first comment I'm going to read out this week comes from Krabby with a K. Hi Tristan, thanks for your videos. I'd like to ask if you have any experience with D15 Z8 or Z6 engines. I have one and wanted to install a small turbo. At first I'd like to do something like what you've done. No ECU or tune, and then get it tuned. Do you think that's possible? Thanks in advance. Firstly, I don't have any experience with D15s. I have, recently come across from being a Nissan guy all my life to now playing around with Hondas, and now soon to be all sorts of cars in the future. But I believe they're very, very similar to a D16, same with a D17. And a D18, they're all pretty similar in the design of the engine, so they can all take the same sort of punishment and abuse and respond similar sort of way to similar sort of mods. Yeah, I believe it's certainly possible to do exactly the same thing. I even believe that the kits that you can buy online fit both the D15 and the D16, so I think that's a really good indication that that's a yes. He's written, so I would need a manifold, turbo, downpipe, no wastegate ? Intercooler and tubing, oil feed line and drain, and nothing else. So I get asked this question all the time. Can you do me a list? Can you write down all of the things that you need to turbo your Civic? And I might even use my whiteboard to make a special video about that. I can probably do that today, so you'll probably see that very soon. You will need lots and lots of things. I've covered this several times in my videos. So yeah, getting a turbo is great, getting a manifold is great, getting an intercooler is great, but you're certainly going to need tons more stuff. An intercooler piping kit. You can buy kits that fit your particular model Civic off the shelf, so buy one of those. If they come with the big fat intercooler, get rid of that. It doesn't fit behind the bar. You're better off getting a thinner one. Up to 3 inches thick is perfect with just minimal trimming, and that'll go on fine. None of them seem to come with brackets, so that's something that I'm going to fix when I design my kit soon. I'm just a bit time poor at the moment. You will need a fuel pump, you will need a fuel pressure regulator, you will need injectors, and you will need a tune at some stage. Now in this video we've covered off some hacks to make the computer run and read and everything nicely just like factory, and you can see that that works. So it is a good hack. Again, it's not forever, and definitely don't always run that, and definitely don't run more than 7, 8 or 9 psi in that sort of setup. I don't want to be responsible for anyone blowing up their motor by having it lean out and detonate and melt a piston. So it's not on me, guys. Keep the boost low. Definitely spool up, but keep the boost low. The next comment I'm going to read out comes from a reasonably big time YouTuber here in Melbourne. I've been following him for quite a while. That's Rex H. We bumped into each other at the wreckers while I was trying to track down what kind of suspension fits in the Little Ripper project, and that was a success because I met Rex, we found the right suspension, and there's possibly going to be some crossover collaborations in the future, which I'm really excited about. If you don't know who that is, Rex H has a channel. He's got an AU Falcon, a Toyota Chaser 1JZ, and he's also previously had much success with MR2s on his channel. And Rex wrote, "Love me a Dirty D series. Nice seeing you at the wreckers. Collaboration soon." Hells yeah. CFMK4 gang wrote, "Why don't you make this full time? Amazing work, by the way. Keep it up." I wish I could. I don't know what you guys know about doing YouTube, but doing car YouTubing is the most expensive possible type of YouTubing you can do. Car parts are expensive and YouTube doesn't pay that much. So if you want to sponsor the channel, hit me up, emails at the homepage of the YouTube channel. This one comes from Adam Jackson. This one, I love these kinds of messages. These are my favorite kinds of messages to get. "Love the work. I've been watching you, and because of you, I now have a 1996 EK hatchback D16 Y7. I did a D16 Y8 manifold like you and install a Rev 9 turbo kit. Runs great. And by the way, be yourself. Who cares about the rude comments? You're a cool dude and give good detail work, and you're honest." Thanks heaps, Adam. That means a lot. And that brings me to the next part of reader comments. Now, the last video where I read out some constructive criticism, that doesn't upset me at all. That type of stuff I absolutely love and I do take on board. Just in shooting this video, a couple of things that I've done where I've swayed backwards and forwards, I've actually stopped, reshot it to make sure that I don't make those mistakes because I don't like it. So I want to make sure that you guys get the best viewing experience as well. So in conclusion, keep sending through constructive criticism. Nobody likes a bully and nobody likes negative people, but if you've got something that's going to help me out and it's going to help the channel grow and something that I can do that's going to make these videos better for you, I will definitely take it on board. So thanks again for all the comments. Definitely leave a comment and a like because both of those things help the channel grow. And by doing so, it'll help the algorithms out. But more importantly, I'm going to notice them and I'm going to respond. I've written back to every single comment I've ever gotten, bar none, and I'll always reply. I may even talk about you on the channel. So keep doing that, that's awesome. So to wrap up the missing link and fish tank filter video, I'm really hoping this can help out lots and lots of people because I could not find one. I searched missing link, Civic map sensor cheater, fish tank filters, map sensor hack. I searched everything. I could not find anything to do with that. So hopefully this video helps out heaps and heaps of people. I certainly had no clue about how this all worked and I even learned tons of things today. So this is the setup that we went with and it works really, really well. The car doesn't break up. We managed to be running 8 PSI comfortably all the way to redline, hit the limiter. There was no engine lights. Which is a bonus, and the car did not break up. Now I did gap the spark plugs down to 0.8, which helps. But what I did is I ended up taking another vacuum line from here that was going onto my fuel pressure reg, and I put a T-piece in the line, and that's where I ran my boost controller. I keep saying boost controller. I mean to say boost gauge. Vacuum line through here. And then that goes off to my fuel pressure reg. What do they look like? They look like that. So that's where I got the vacuum signal from, and we're actually running 8 PSI comfortably now with no tune. So that worked out really, really well. Now I get pulled up a little bit for saying tune. In Australia we call it a tune. We actually spell it tune, but in America people say tune. So Australia tune, America tune. We know what we're talking about. Thanks again to the guys that reached out to me on Facebook, Van, Voda and Joey. Awesome dudes. I've met Joey, he's got a 6-stager and I'm gonna catch up with him soon and hopefully see where the Stagia is at, because I really want to grab me one of those actually. So if you haven't subscribed yet, here's 11 reasons why you should. These are some of the projects we've got on the channel. They're not always happening, but they're all happening in the background. So we've got my D16 Turbo, T28, Haltech E85, the Missus Luxury K24 CU2, brother-in-law's EG with a K20. We've just done the EK Turbo kit, you've seen that. Customer's car, which we've done. We've got an 800 horsepower B18 EM1 in the build. That one will probably start happening again in the warmer months. Same thing with this EJ8 with a D16. We're going for 400 plus horsepower there. 2 Honda City turbos, 2 Moto Compo trunk rockets, trunk monkey trunk bikes. And we've got Project Little Ripper underneath here, which I'm back into now, and I'll be making a video right now. So make sure you spool up, bring the boost, and we'll see you in the next video.